I am Reed, I am 27, just an average dude. I've made tons of money mistakes in my 20s, and now I want to share everything I've learned to help you take control of your finances and your life. Alright, let me start with something that made me stop scrolling yesterday, and I think you should too. Donald Trump posted on social media that his 4th annual physical was a success. He said his results were excellent. That was it. No doctor, no medical report, no nothing. Just a thumbs up from an 80-year-old man saying, "Trust me, I am fine." Now, I consider myself a pretty skeptical guy, and when I saw this, I had to dig in, because something is very off here. This is the 4th annual physical he has had in 19 months. Let me say that again. 4 annual physicals in 19 months. Most presidents have one a year. Obama had them once a year. Biden had them once a year. Trump is running to Walter Reed like it is a pit stop on a NASCAR track, and every single time the information gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Let me walk you through the timeline, because this is where it gets really interesting. April 2025 was his first physical. He was 78 years old at the time. Dr. Sean Barabella, the physician to the president, actually wrote a full medical report, pages of it. They posted it on the White House website. It talked about his cardiac examination, his EKG, his neurological exam. Wait, did you catch that? A neurological exam that is not standard for a routine annual physical. Most of us go in for a checkup. They check your blood pressure, they check your cholesterol, maybe they run some basic blood work. They do not do a full comprehensive neurological examination unless there is a reason to do one. But sure, they said everything was fine. They said he had excellent cognitive and physical health. Great, that was April 2025. Then we moved to July 2025. This was his second visit in less than 3 months. They called it a status update. Dr. Barabella wrote another memo. This time they mentioned mild swelling in his legs. They said a deep vein thrombosis was possible. They acknowledged bruising on the back of his hand. They said it was from frequent handshaking. Come on now. If you have a doctor who tells you hand bruising is from shaking hands, you might want to get a second opinion. This report was about 3/4 of a page. Notice the pattern. We went from multiple pages of detailed results to less than a page. Then October 2025. This is his 3rd physical in about 7 months. Here is where it gets really weird. He goes in for the exam, but they don't T-release anything. Nothing. 2 months go by. The 1st of December, they finally released something after public pressure from media outlets, and what do we get? A half paragraph. It says advanced imaging was performed on his heart and abdomen. Advanced imaging, that means MRI or CT scan or something serious. They say it is standard for men of his age. It is not standard. I looked this up. Standard executive physicals do not automatically include advanced imaging of your heart and abdomen, unless there are specific concerns. They said his cardiovascular image was perfectly normal, his abdominal imaging was perfectly normal, all major organs appear very healthy, and again, no full report, just a summary paragraph. Now we are in May 2026. This is his 4th annual physical in 19 months, and for the first time, there is no doctor at all. Dr. Barabella, who wrote the previous 3 reports, is nowhere to be found. There is no White House memo, no medical documentation, no nothing. Just Donald Trump on social media saying his results were excellent. That is not how transparency works. That is not how any of this works. And here is the thing that bothers me the most. We already know this guy has a history with medical reports. Years ago, his own private doctor admitted that Trump dictated the medical letter, and the doctor just put it on his letterhead. The doctor literally said if Trump said he was 6'5" and weighed 180 pounds, I would put that on the letterhead. So we are supposed to believe that now everything is totally above board. We are supposed to believe that the most secretive medical reporting in presidential history is somehow because he is just so healthy. Think about what we see with our own eyes. We see the vein disorder in his legs, we see the swelling, we see the bruising on his hands that they try to cover with makeup, we see the rashes on his neck. We see him falling asleep in meetings. We see him telling the same story over and over again. We see him not remembering what he was in the hospital for. Somebody asked him what part of his body they did an MRI on, and he said, "I have no idea. It was just an MRI." Then he said it was not his brain because he aced a cognitive test. If it was not his brain, then what part of your body was it? He could not answer. That is not normal. Now I want to talk about why this matters beyond just the gossip of it all. This man is the commander-in-chief. He has his finger on the nuclear button. He can start wars without congressional oversight. He makes decisions every single day that affect the lives of every person in this country. And honestly, people all over the world. And we are being told to just trust him when he says he is fine. No documentation, no doctor, nothing. Do you think our enemies are not watching this? Do you think they do not have their own doctors analyzing every video of Trump, looking at his gait, his speech patterns, his energy levels? They are probably getting way more information than the American people are getting. That is a national security issue. When you hide the health of the president, you are hiding information that other countries are using to make strategic decisions. This is heading toward 25th Amendment territory. The 25th Amendment allows the vice president and the cabinet to remove a president who is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office. And here's the thing, it does not require the president to agree. If the vice president and a majority of the cabinet decide he is unfit, they can make it happen. Now, I am not saying we are there yet, but we are moving in that direction fast. And the fact that the administration is being less and less transparent about his health only makes people more suspicious. Here is what I think will happen next. Democrats in Congress are going to start demanding testimony. They are going to want Dr. Barabella to come in and explain what is going on. They are going to want to know why the medical reports have shrunk from pages to nothing. They are going to want to know what those advanced imaging tests actually showed, and they should. This is not a partisan issue. This is a basic governance issue. The American people have a right to know if their president is healthy enough to do the job. After the midterms, there's going to be serious oversight. They are going to bring in cabinet members and ask them if they have considered the 25th Amendment. They are going to ask why they have not had these conversations. They are going to put pressure on everyone in that administration who has been enabling this lack of transparency. Look, I get it. Politics is exhausting. We are all tired of the chaos, but this is one of those things where we have to pay attention. When the most powerful person in the world starts hiding basic health information from the public, that is a red flag. And when the pattern keeps getting worse with every visit, that is a pattern that demands answers. So here's what I would say to you. If you care about this country, and I know you do not let this story die. Keep talking about it, keep asking questions, keep demanding transparency. The only reason they released anything in October was because of public pressure from media outlets. So we need to keep that pressure on. We need to make sure this does not get buried in the news cycle. And honestly, this whole situation reminds me of something I learned the hard way in my own life. When I was in my early 20s, I was terrible with money, I was in debt, I was spending money I did not have, and I would tell everyone I was fine. I would say everything is under control, but I was hiding the truth because I was embarrassed and I did not want anyone to know how bad things really were. And the more I hid it, the worse it got. It was only when I finally came clean and showed someone the actual numbers that I could start fixing things. Transparency is uncomfortable, but it is the only way to actually solve problems. That is what is happening here. The less information we get, the more we should worry. If everything was fine, they would just release the report. They would let Dr. Barabella come out and say everything looks good. They would be screaming from the rooftops about how healthy the president is. The fact that they are doing the opposite tells you everything you need to know. All right, I have been going on for a while, but this is one of those topics that gets me fired up because it is so obviously wrong. We deserve better. We deserve a president who is transparent about his health. We deserve a White House that does not hide information from the people they serve. And we deserve a media that does not let this story fade away. Thanks for sticking with me on this one. If you found this helpful or eye-opening or whatever, hit that like button and subscribe so you do not miss the next one. I will be watching this story closely and I will keep you updated on anything new that comes out. Peace.